When I look at schools today, I can't help but feel something important has been lost. Back in my teaching days, there was stern morality and a clear sense of right and wrong. We didn't hesitate to rebuke somebody when they crossed the line. And yes, sometimes we even had to strap somebody or slap somebody on the hand. It wasn't out of cruelty. It was part of a moral framework that taught children respect, humility, and self-control. Nowadays, the word discipline sounds almost forbidden. Teachers are expected to admonish gently, to talk endlessly about feelings, to find alternative methods. But what's the result? Classrooms full of noise, children who reprimand the teacher instead of the other way around. There's no rigidity, no structure, no fear of consequences, and without fear, there's no respect. I remember when even a simple look could silence a room. My students learned that every action had a reaction. If they misbehaved, they knew what was coming, and they learned from it. Many of them came back years later to thank me, saying that my strictness helped them become disciplined, reliable adults. Can you imagine that happening today? I doubt it. Of course, times have changed. People call it progress. They say children must feel free to express themselves. But in my opinion, freedom without boundaries leads to chaos. We've raised a generation that doesn't understand restraint because no one ever rebuked them properly. Perhaps I'm old-fashioned, but I still believe that a little rigidity and a firm hand shape better citizens than all the positive reinforcement in the world. Respect was earned and kept, not through fear, but through the certainty that actions always had consequences.
With all due respect, I must retort that the so-called good old days were not as good as some people remember. I, too, have spent decades in the classroom, and I've seen how fear-based discipline damages more than it builds. Striking or shouting at a child may produce short-term obedience, but in the long run, it only erodes self-esteem and breeds resentment. Children don't learn respect from pain, they learn submission. And that's not the same thing. You call today's teachers too soft, too lenient, but I believe there's strength in calm firmness. A lenient approach doesn't mean letting chaos reign. It means understanding what drives behavior and addressing it intelligently. Yes, I refuse to slap or humiliate a child, but that doesn't mean I relent when a student answers me back or behaves recklessly. I set clear boundaries, and I follow through consistently, without violence. Many teachers from your generation confuse discipline with domination. That's not order. That's fear management. And fear always leads to sloppiness. Students pretending to obey, teachers pretending to teach, and everyone avoiding the truth. We must stop this buck passing from generation to generation, where the teacher blames the parents and the parents blame society. Our job is not to break children's spirits, but to shape their character. Sometimes we need to indulge somebody a little, to listen, to understand, to help them channel their energy. Not every act of rebellion deserves punishment. Some are simply cries for attention or confusion. True discipline is teaching responsibility, not enforcing silence. If we want thoughtful, compassionate adults, we must show them what empathy and justice look like, not what fear and humiliation feel like.